Peperomia, however you want to call it. I give you permission to say it however you want. Hi, I'm Megan. Thanks for joining me today. Today we're going to be talking about, it's heavy, the Peperomia Obtusifolia. I have no idea if I pronounced that right. You can pronounce it however you want. AKA the American rubber plant, the baby rubber plant, the radiator plant, and the pepper face plant. This is commonly grown in Central America, South America, and even in parts of Florida. USA, USA. As far as the different types of, I don't know what I want to call it. Let's call it baby rubber plant. The baby rubber plant only comes really in two varieties, jade like this, or variegated, which has the really cool yellows and greens. I've rarely seen a white one. I'm sure they exist, especially now with, genetic splicing and things like that. But for the most part, you've either got all green or greens and yellows. This is a really good, hardy, idiot-proof plant because it rarely gets pests. It can handle a lot of abuse and neglect, and it will occasionally flower. It's got these really beautiful creamy white buds, and they start as like spiky shoots. And just FYI, I said one of the names of this is a radiator plant. When I was doing my research, I was like, why would that be a name for a plant? And it was coined by an American horticulturalist, Liberty Hyde Bailey, because they love warm weather and sunlight. And in my head, that probably means like you can put it on top of a radiator, like one of those shelves. It would probably do well there. Also, this is a pet-friendly plant, so it's great to have around dogs, cats, and according to the ASPCA, horses. The coloring on these is really cool in its simplicity to me. It gets this really gorgeous, true green, Kermit the Frog green. That's not the official name. While the variegated version will get splotches of bright yellows and lighter greens. Sometimes, like I said, you might see flecks of white, but it's usually more yellow than it is white. Now let's talk about care. My wrist is getting tired. Let me switch. Light conditions, these guys will do okay-ish in low light. They're usually promoted as low light plants, and I think that's because their leaves are pretty thick if you feel them and hardy, so they can handle a lot of abuse. But for happy plants, you probably want to give them at least 2 to 3 hours of indirect sunlight. If you can't get it near sunlight, or you want to keep it in a room that has no windows, try to get it in a room that you're in a lot so it can get access to overhead lights, computer screens, any kind of light for a couple of hours. For water requirements, since these are pretty thick leaves, they can handle missing a couple of water cycles. But on average, you probably want to water it maybe every 1 to 2 weeks. Put your finger in the soil, go down about 1/4 inch, and if it comes out clean, that means that it's dry and needs to be watered. As you can see, I just watered mine so it has a little bit of sediment in there, and put it back from whence it came. For soil, these do best in loose mixes. So a really good recommendation I saw was 2 parts peat moss, 1 part perlite or sand. In terms of fertilizers, despite this being, mine grows out instead of up. Despite this being a pretty anchored plant, they actually have very shallow root systems. So consequently, they can't handle a lot of fertilizer. I would say maybe like every 1 month. 1 month might be too much. Play around, see what you like best. I like to use Schultz all-purpose plant food. It really is all-purpose. Idiot-proof for people like me who just don't want to think about it. And I will usually try to remember to give it fertilizer about every other month. Temperature requirements, it's really good as an indoor houseplant because it thrives in temperatures of about 65 to 85 degrees Fahrenheit. So typical indoor climate, it's probably gonna do okay. Propagation, the best rule of thumb is to go about 4 inches down and make sure that the cutting has a few leaves and at least 1 node. Typically, you want to propagate this in soil instead of water, but if you want to do water, you can. I would say change out the water once a week. That would probably help it thrive. In terms of repotting, leave it alone in winter, and you can repot it probably right around the beginning of the growing season, usually early spring. And the best way to tell if it's time to repot it is to look for roots shooting out. Again, since this is a shallow root system, it can do pretty well for a long time in the same pot. If you start seeing roots coming out of drainage holes or shooting at the sides, it's time for a bigger pot. Now let's talk troubleshooting problems. Like I said, this is a pretty idiot-proof plant. It can handle a lot of neglect and abuse, but there are a couple of problems it can have. If you start seeing it losing a lot of leaves, you're probably overwatering it. Again, these plants, like any plants, will drop off leaves occasionally. It's just part of the plant cycle. But if you start seeing it to where it's starting to get alarming, you're probably giving it too much water. If your leaves start to dull, like become lighter colored or be like a faded sort of vintagey look, that might look cool, but it's probably a sign that it's getting too much sunlight and it's trying to kind of hold back on the chlorophyll because it's just getting overloaded. So try and move it to a less bright area, or put down some blinds or semi-transparent curtains to give it a little rest from the sunlight. And if you start getting brown tips on it, that's usually a sign that it's getting drafts somewhere around it. So check for drafts around your windows and try and seal that. If it's near any of your air registers, move it. It's not a fan of windy conditions. It really likes things quiet and chill, and it can thrive there. And there you go. That is the baby rubber plant, the American rubber plant, the radiator plant, the pepper face plant. Whatever you want to call it, it is a really good plant for beginners and is one that can handle pretty much whatever you throw at it. Hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.